Welcome, my friends. How are you guys doing today? I am Joezmcfly. The New York Yankees had a press conference today to talk about the inadequacies of the organization. Do they actually? I don't know. I looked at a couple of videos. It's easy to say I was not satisfied in many of the answers that we received. I would also like to say that what the Yankees did with Anthony Volpe is just weird. I don't know what's going on there with the organization and the handling of Anthony Volpe. There's some news also that we're going to discuss, and we'll talk about all of that and more. I did see that this HBO, before anything, I did see that this HBO A-Rod series is coming out November 4th, where I can't wait to watch that. That'll be pretty cool. And November 6th, sorry, 9 p.m. on HBO Max. So I'll be watching that. Kind of looking forward to that. A-Rod versus Alex. That's kind of like the theme there. So I'll do that. We'll be watching that. Also, the Yankees. Oh, playoff streams. I'm supposed to be doing a playoff stream tonight against the. We're supposed to be doing the Dodgers against the Brewers. Hopefully, the Brewers do not go down 3-0 because I would like to see a series there. So far, the home team has not won in the playoffs, so that's interesting. And then the Blue Jays are right after. Blue Jays won yesterday. Good for them. And that's now a series. I kind of figured that they were going to win Game 3. But we'll see what happens tonight with some of the people on the mound. So I think we'll be streaming that, but that'll be on the JM Baseball channel and all of that. So we're going to be talking about that. But, yeah, I want to talk about what the Yankees did today and what happened. There's some quick takeaways from the entire press conference and just everything that that Boone and Cashman and whatever that they went ahead and they talked about. I was wondering why Hal wasn't there, but not really because he's just never there. So let's go ahead and see a couple of things real quick. Cliff note wise that the Yankees talked about. Number one, on the injury front, Aaron Judge will not require elbow surgery. They took another MRI. They said he'll just like kind of rest it and then he'll start strengthening it later on. So he should be fine and ready for spring training. No problem. He'll continue strengthening things and rehab stuff, says Aaron Boone. Anthony Volpe, which we'll talk about a little bit more after, they said that he underwent left shoulder surgery October 14th and cannot swing a bat for 4 months, cannot dive on the shoulder for 6 months, and will begin the season on the IL and could return in late April or May. Carlos Rodon underwent procedure to remove loose bodies and shave down a bone spur in the pitching elbow and will not throw for 8 weeks and will be delayed potentially a couple of weeks to the beginning of the season. Now, I was wondering with Carlos Rodon why his velocity was down, so that could have been a big reason as to why his velo was down, but that was interesting, I guess. I wasn't expecting that. I'll say, but I've learned to kind of expect the unexpected. Am I on the camera? All right. I'll answer some of your questions right after. I just want to like read some of these things and go through that. Let me see. And then we have Gerrit Cole, who is scheduled to continue throwing lightly throughout the offseason and will not be ready for opening day, but initial estimates have pointed toward May. So far, that's 2 starters that are not going to be available to May. And then it says Clark Schmidt is expected to begin a throwing program mid-December and could return in the second half of 2026. So that's 3 starters. One of the starters I did not expect to be available. 2 of the starters is weird because I honestly thought that Gerrit Cole would be available right away. And I thought that, they're delaying it by a little bit. And maybe they're being optimistic and they just don't want to rush him back, which is fine. You don't want to lose Gerrit Cole for a longer time. The Rodon thing comes as a surprise, and then hopefully everybody else stays healthy for spring training. So starting pitching wise, the Yankees have Cam Schlittler. They've got Will Warren. They've got Max Fried. Luis Hill. Who else? I don't know. There's been a lot of speculation that the Detroit Tigers may be like looking to trade Tarek Skubal this offseason. And that would be interesting if they were to do that. But I don't know if the Yankees would be able to compete with other people that are probably going to be able to, that can put together better packages to get them. But here we go. Just like that. The Yankees won't have their top thing. But just seeing Rodon being hurt like that, I think I would probably look to try to see if we can get that. But that's probably not going to happen. I am streaming Dodgers Brewers, but I'm streaming it on Talking Baseball, not on here. Let's see. Thank you so much on TikTok for the hearts, and appreciate you guys. I'm gonna read some of your questions real quick, and then I'm gonna see what you guys are saying real quick, and then we'll go from there. Twitch chat, I have not seen you guys say anything. I haven't seen anybody on Twitch say anything yet, but let's see. So we have you guys. Thank you for the follow on TikTok. Can you give me a shout out? Says King. What's good, King? How you doing? Krishna. McFly was good. Rodon, what's up? We need more. Need more pitching. Was good, Charlie. All right. And then Tucker or Bellinger. I probably go with Bellinger. We're going to play a couple of sound bits. We're going to play a couple of like Yankee sound bits, bites. And then we'll talk about them and do all of that stuff. I'm going to see what we have. I think we're going to start with the Boone side of things, right? Because he said a couple of things that were like, oh, boy. We can get into the conversation of Anthony Volpe real quick, right? Because the Anthony Volpe conversation is, to me, it's starting to become fascinating, right? So here's the story. Apparently, his shoulder was worse than what they thought. Boone says, and you guys will hear it in the video that I'm going to play, Boone says that his shoulder did not prevent him from playing well. Cashman says he's starting to think that the shoulder prevented him from playing well. So which one is it? Because it's got to be one of them, okay? It can't be like, it's got to be one of them. I think it obviously affected him. I also think that this is who Volpe is, and what are we doing, But the Yankees' excuses for Volpe is it just keeps happening over and over again. Here we go. Volpe was asked, does he second guess himself for playing Volpe throughout this postseason, even though he knew that his shoulder was hurt and he was ineffective, basically. Let me see here. Oops, wrong one. Bro, why does this happen? Okay. Here we go. This is what Boone said.
Now knowing how serious Volpe's injury was, do you have any second guessing of playing him as often as you did?
No.
And why? Because his production obviously was limited offensively and defensively. After the trade deadline, you had a replacement available on the bench. So why wouldn't you have gone to him knowing just what he was going through?
Yeah, I mean, even going into this winter, like, surgery wasn't a certainty. It was do we do this surgery? And really what it comes down to is we have this time now, and Anthony ultimately deciding, like, because there's things that he does to it over the course of the year that aggravate it, right? I think for the overwhelming majority of the year, it was not affecting his play. There were things like he would dive on it in a certain way, tick it off, aggravate it. I think in some ways the injury probably got a little bit worse towards the end of the year based on a couple of episodes that happened, but I don't think it was impacting performance. And this is something that, you can play with and play through, but the finality of getting it fixed now hopefully frees him up to really go dive on it the way he's going to dive on it and make those next level of plays that Anthony makes. And then hopefully, because you're fixing something that is, hurt on the body, that hopefully, it does help performance too, like go to another level.
All right, so a couple of things there, a couple of word vomit, whatever, I don't really understand. Listen, he's saying that he doesn't believe that it affected Volpe's performance on the field. I disagree. I mean, if we take a look at offensively, maybe if he's talking about offensively, Volpe's always been this player, which has been horrible. Look at this. Last year he was this. The year before he was this. He just has never been a top percentile player in any category here offensively. Now, defensively, he did take a step down. Last year, outs above average, 97 percentile. He was playing really well. And this year, he was horrid. I mean, he was all the way to the other side, did -6. So it wasn't good there. So for you to, I don't understand. Do the Yankees not have the metrics that us regular people do? How do they not see that it affected his performance on the field? He was dog shit. He wasn't good. Now, it didn't affect his performance because he was remarkably consistent, right? He was still the same player. Last year, he didn't have this shoulders issue. And by the way, he got this injury back in May, and he's been struggling since. So it's pretty frustrating to see this. And, I mean, just look at this. This was last year. He was healthy. And now this year, it's the same offensive player. Just defensively, he's worse. So it's just stuff I don't understand as to why the Yankees even, they didn't do Anthony Volpe any favors with this whole press conference. They actually made it that, Yankee fans were more upset than anything else, hearing a lot of the things. All right, so this is Boone was asked if he sees Anthony Volpe as his starting shortstop in 2026.
Understanding his season may be delayed, do you still see Volpe as your starting shortstop going into next year?
Yeah, I mean, he's right in the mix to do that. So I think one of the things that I'm proudest about for Anthony is, obviously it was a very tough season, for him in a lot of ways. And I think he got a lot of, arrows thrown his way. And I always feel like he handles those things so well. And really for the first time since he's been here, because I think it's important to know how good a defender he's been. And he went through a stretch of 4 to 6 weeks where he struggled on that side of the ball. He made some, errors that he shouldn't have made, some key spots where he made some mistakes. I think it's really important to note that how well he played on defense the final 8 weeks of the season, very much in line with who he's been in the 3 years that he's been our shortstop. So the defense, I feel like, really returned to a level that we've come to know with Volpe after going through some tough moments there in the middle of the season.
Understand.
You know what's funny, man? And this is what I laugh about, bro. Let me just fast forward this here. What I laugh about this is whenever they talk about Volpe, they only want to talk about defense, which defense is, shortstop is a defensive first position. Sure. But the guy offensively is not a major league player. Offensively, he's not a major league player. He's not. Look at this. 212, 19 homers, 72 RBI, 663 OPS. You got 19 homers, sure, there's a lot of bad pitching in the league. 19 homers, so the Yankees look at that like, yeah, that's good. But it's not. For you to have 19 home runs and you have a 663 OPS, that's bad. That's like really bad, guys. That's like really bad. Really bad. Because 19 homers allows you to have a good amount in slugging. He's not getting on base. It's just not. It's not a good major league player, or the Yankees hitting philosophy is the worst philosophy for him. It's the worst philosophy for him. I don't get why this is so hard, and the way that they protect him is kind of like, we don't have access to what stats are. And you know what? The people that do protect Volpe as a Major League Baseball player are the ones that will say things like, oh, but his war. Bro, what war? What are you talking about, bro? What are we even talking about? Volpe seasons, he's been remarkably consistent at being bad. He in the home run department, look at these numbers. His best year was 2024, where he batted 243. Excuse me. Batted 243 with a 293 on base percentage. Doesn't get on base. These are his numbers. He's consistently in this area. Look at his WRC plus. Okay? Where do you want to be for this number? At around 100. He's at 83 here. His best year, he's at 87. And he's at 83 this year. This is the player that he is. Why is this a surprise? And the more you protect this, the more you consistently think that this is okay, or that you preach that this is okay. It only, like he talked about, a lot of the arrows pointed at him this year. Bro, you guys created that. You guys are creating that. Volpe's a guy that you guys need to, Volpe's a guy that you guys need to go ahead and bring around, and you should have sent him down to the minor leagues a couple of times. That should have happened. They talk about, I swear, bro, they talk about Volpe in a way they've never spoken about Didi Gregorius. And if you want to compare, which it wouldn't even be freaking fair to compare Didi Gregorius' numbers as a Yankee to Anthony Volpe. I mean, look at this. Look at his 2018 season. A 122 WRC plus. This is a very good player and very good defensively. The Yankees never spoke about him that way. No way. No way. The protection that they give this kid, regardless of performance, is something that's not merited. It's not merited. And because of that, that's why he draws the ire of the fans. Some fans, because other fans don't want to protect him. They think he's like a, lay off the kid, lay off the kid. It's like, guys, this is a grown man, bro. What do you mean? They asked Cashman about the starting shortstop. They asked him about what was going on there, and then this is what Cashman said. Shit is a freaking joke.
Anthony and Aaron Boone both said that Volpe's injury didn't impact his performance much. Do you agree with that assessment? And if so, what makes you think he can be a positive contributor post-surgery?
I think...
Fresher, Storm, thank you so much for the prime. I appreciate you, my brother.
I personally think now I'll start leaning more into that, yes, it was affecting him. Because
Boone says it wasn't affecting him. Cashman says it was affecting him.
is ultimately he had to have a surgery.
This is his third year in the league.
None of that was really on the table, in season. So I think all things can be true. Was it bothering him to a level that was getting to a height of concern for us? In season, the answer is no. Why is that? Player says it wasn't bothering him at that point. His physical testing was.
The player says it wasn't bothering him at this point. What? I don't understand. You guys have numbers. You guys are one of the best organizations in the world. You guys have all the resources in the world. You can tell that the injury was affecting him. Defensively, he was horrible, which is actually that was actually a surprise. How bad he was defensively was a big surprise from last year. So you guys see this. Why don't you guys think that that's a problem? And you guys know about the shoulder. And you guys keep saying that it's not bothering him because he's saying that it doesn't bother him? Every number says that it does.
Coming back strong. We did an MRI that showed some old stuff in there. Ahmad recommended we can do a shot, and you banged it, falling on it, diving on it. That seemed to take care of it. You forget about it. Struggles keep happening. Conversations between your player and your trainer. These players, first and foremost, are superpowers. They're superpower. They're superhuman beings where the things that bother us physically, in a massive way, I don't think these alpha dogs, for instance, it bothers them as much.
Bruh.
This is I get it. A lot of athletes play with a lot of injuries. They play through a lot of injuries. Some of them are actually able to be very good playing through injuries. Volpe's not that guy. Why do the Yankees... I got a question, man. And maybe you guys in the chat can help me answer this. Do the Yankees view Volpe as a superstar? Because it feels like they do. It feels like they view Volpe as a superstar. It feels like they view him as like a guy that's like one of the best overall shortstops in the league. They view him as a superstar, not even a star. A kid that has not made an all-star game. They view him as a superstar, and they're the only organization that views him that way. There are 29 other teams out there that would not start Anthony Volpe as their shortstop. Why are the New York Yankees the only org that does that? I'd like to really know that. Why do they view him as a superstar? Can Judge play through some injuries? Yes, he's Aaron Judge. Can Giancarlo play through injuries and still be effective? We've seen it. Can Bellinger? Sure. But those guys have won MVPs. What are we talking about? They're superhuman athletes. Volpe is an athlete. Yes. I get that. He's not a super player, bro. He's just not. Volpe needs to be talked to and told, my guy, you're not. I feel like Volpe walks on like equal footing as like, maybe not equal footing, but like it feels like, oh, him and Judge, it's like him and Judge, we're the pillars. Like, no, you're not, buddy. Like, you're not. Boone has said he's elite. I don't agree. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't agree with that. The Yankees are strange when it comes to all of that stuff, when it comes to, admitting mistakes. They're way too slow with making changes. If Volpe was really that good, why did Caballero take his job at the end of the season? Why? And why is it that no matter how bad he was in the postseason, you never let Caballero play? I'd love to know that. Volpe struck out like 11 times out of 14 at-bats in the ALDS, and he played every day. Like, that kind of job security is crazy. Yankees would rather get eliminated than to change the shortstop and try something different. This is the organization that benched A-Rod for Raul Ibanez. And you know what? At the time it worked, and I agree with it. It's like, all right, fine. We do what we got to do to win. But that's what the Yankees used to be. They're like not that way anymore. They're more, let's coddle this fucking kid because let's just, I don't want to hurt his feelings because he didn't start a playoff games that we might get eliminated from a division rival. Let's coddle him because we don't want to lose the kid. Bro, if the kid can't handle that his numbers suck and that's the reason why he's sitting down, then you know what? I don't know. But yet you go on the other side and you praise Jason for losing playing time. You get what I'm saying? You praise Jason for losing playing time as a result. And the way he's handling losing playing time because of his production and not being able to hit left-handed pitching. And you know what? That was warranted. They treat Jason Dominguez the right way. The way you should treat a rookie. They've never given Anthony Volpe that energy, and I think it's because they feel he is a superstar. The Yankees have said that they have compared Anthony Volpe's years to Dansby Swanson. You know what? Sure, but Dansby Swanson is more of an exception, not a rule, right? Like, that doesn't... Like, let's take a look. Hold on. Because I feel like this is almost low-key disrespectful to Swanson, but I get it. If we take a look at Dansby's first, his first 3 years offensively, I can see that. Let's go back. When was that, 2017? This is his rookie year, right? Defensively, he wasn't that good either, and there's some good things here. But let's see. Let's see how that progresses. Let's go look at 2018. Defensively, he was really good. His run speed was really good. I think he was stealing bases as well. 2018. Let's go ahead to 2019. Guys, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Look at his third year. What are we talking about? 2019. This is, I feel like, bro, this shit, if I was Dansby Swanson, I'd be like, yo, this is defamation. I'm suing. You guys are trying to sully my name, bro. How? When have we seen these? If we got this from Volpe, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be ecstatic. What were his full numbers that year? I got to see his full numbers in that season. What was that, 2018? I got to find this whole slash line. It's not on Baseball Savant. I got to go look on here. Let's go look on here. What year did I say? 2019? $2018, right? No, 2019. It was 2019. 251, 325, 422. He had a 747 OPS. Oh my God. I would kill for Volpe to have a 747 OPS. I would love a 747 OPS from Volpe. I'd love that. I'd love that. I'd love this. Thank you for the follows, by the way, guys. Look at that. That's a nice balanced season. 2020, whatever, pandemic year, you don't want to take that. 2021, 240. Bro, if Volpe had these numbers consistently, I would be happy having Volpe as my shortstop. Very happy. Year 3, there was progress. Offensively for him, like, look at these numbers offensively, right? He went up in homers. He did this. Like, there was progress offensively for Volpe, for Dansby Swanson every year. Volpe's been the same player for 3 years. Yankees have made no adjustments. He came in to the from the offseason into spring training last year and said, "Oh, what changed about your swing? What did you do to change your swing?" He says he didn't change anything. He says he just thinks that, you know, him being around the league, he'll be better acquainted. That was the game plan coming into this year. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. I don't want to make this only about Volpe or whatever it is, because I think the Yankees have a bigger part in it because they're also not helping him develop. So I think that's the bigger, that's what needs to start drawing the ire, really. Why is it that the Yankees have only developed one Major League Baseball player, basically, on the, you know, position player side since 2017? Since Aaron Judge came, the only guy that was able to be developed by the New York Yankees has been Aaron Judge. And Aaron Judge, to further his own development, had to stop listening to the Yankees, had to tell the Yankees, I'm not listening to you guys anymore offensively. I'm going to go ahead and go out and seek outside advice. And he went to go see Teacher Man. And for him to become the superstar that he is offensively. Defensively, he had a whole bunch of traits. Why is that? Why is that? The philosophy for a lot of these other guys is not the same. Ben Rice is good right now. I'm very afraid with how the Yankees are going to help him develop. Jason Dominguez, I feel it can become a Major League Baseball player. I don't have that confidence in them to develop him. Why? And we'll talk about Jason Dominguez. There's also, I think Boone said that there's a hope that that he plays winter ball or something like that, which I love. I love that. I love that he'll play winter ball and be able to get some at-bats that way. And we'll talk about that and, you know, whatever. But I kind of want to, like, put a bow on this Volpe stuff and not really really think about it or whatnot. I'm trying to see right now because Brian Cashman did talk about. He talked about Volpe. Shortstop is such an important position in an organization. So you got to be able to get that right. It's also not easy to get shortstops from anywhere. You get me? People that can play the position is not easy.
You still see him as your starting shortstop once he's back?
I mean, I think so. I think, you know, I believe in the player still. I think we believe in the player. It doesn't mean that.
Why? Why? My follow-up question to him saying we believe in the player is why? Why do you believe in the player? Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be, like, disrespectful in any way. Why? Why do you believe in the player? What number shows you that you feel like this player has been getting better year to year? What, like, is it just defensively? Is it just, like, I need to know so that way I know how they're grading people because I don't understand. I honestly don't understand.
We don't play with, on any level, all aspects of roster assessments. You know, he's 24 years old. I don't think New York stage is too big for him. It just, you know, still finding his way. And, you know, the age is something that, you know, there's a lot of value to reminding yourself about that. You know, you see, whether it's in our sport, you know, players that eventually figure it out, you know, as they go down the line. You watch the NFL, these number one pick quarterbacks that franchise put.
quarterback is vastly different, right? Like, that's way different. You get what I'm saying? So
everything in, shortstop's kind of a
Maybe you're
quarterback
making
position,
1.5.
center field catcher in baseball. And you see that, players that you expect a lot, at early on for seasons, but then they're not living up to their growing pains, so to speak, as they go through getting their sea legs under them somewhere.
getting their sea legs under them. Hold on a second, Cash. This is after the 2023 season, his rookie year.
Maybe you're making
well,
point and a half of
other young
others.
players come up and succeed in the major leagues. Am I missing the young players who are coming up who
With
are
the Yankees.
offensively succeeding in the major leagues?
So you're saying that we can't produce major.
I'm not saying you can't. I'm asking. You described it as indisputable. I'm asking you where, ultimately.
But the example
Look how defensive he is.
you want to say right now is Volpe, I guess, and Cabrera. Those are the two, right? Peraza.
Like, if they were performing, they would have kept getting more at bats. They didn't perform, and they didn't.
But Peraza's not getting everyday reps. He's
Right,
got Glaber. He's got Volpe now. He's got LeMahieu. Prior to that was Donaldson. There was not a lane for him to even play. So I don't even know why you used Peraza.
Well, these are your young players.
I understand that, but he's got to have a spot to play for you to be able to use
Well,
his
if he
name.
would have hit, he would have played more. He didn't hit, so he didn't play more, right?
Well, where's he going to play?
Well, if he hit, he would have played.
Who would he, if he hit? Like, this is Abbott Costello. If he hit, who's he taking out? LeMahieu at third? Is he taking out Volpe at short? Is he taking out Glaber Torres, who was one of the best second basemen in the American League last
If
year?
you want to win, you're going to play the guys who are hitting. If he hit, he would have played, right?
I guess if he hit better than Volpe, he would have played shortstop, and he would have won the thing out of spring training. But Volpe won it out of spring training. I think it's a stupid discussion.
Yeah, Volpe won it out of spring training, and then you guys came out as an organization and said there is nothing Anthony Volpe can do to lose his job this year. That, to me, is insane. I don't think I've ever heard the Yankees didn't even tell Derek Jeter that. But they told him that.
Having personally, I think our player development system, all that matters from my end to you is I think our player development system does a great job. You're questioning whether it does. That's your job to do. Proof will be in the pudding. Let's see how. So if Volpe comes up crushing it this year, are you going to be like, hey, I guess their development system does produce hitters?
I reviewed the movies in front of me. The movies this year weren't good.
Okay,
if
so
the
then
movies are good next year, we'll have a different discussion.
All right, and then I can hear you say, you know what? Remember last year? I look forward to that. I look forward to you telling me that when Volpe crushes it offensively this year for us, that you'll say, hey, man, I guess your development program did a good job.
By the way, 2024 happened. Spoiler, it did not happen. It did not happen at all. He was actually kind of the same player offensively in 2024 that he was in 2023. Spoiler.
And it was just sea legs under him his first maiden voyage year with not much triple A under his belt. I mean, I feel it's pretty basic.
It's pretty basic. You see, like, there's an arrogance to the Yankees where they don't ever feel like they're wrong. Here we go. We're now in 2025, going into 2026, and the Yankees are telling you that they're going to once again go with Volpe next year at shortstop.
And then they wound up in a different environment, and now they're leading their teams. And I'm sure there are various different reasons for it, but I think Boone was talking about it with you guys earlier. It's like sometimes this isn't linear. It's also not guaranteed. And that's why it's fair to always assess what you have and is it good enough and do you need to replace it and can you find better and all that stuff. And that, I promise you, always takes place. But I believe in the player. I think we believe in the player. I think the injury probably contributed to the performance season that he wound up having more so than we would have thought based on our intimate involvement with him and our medical staff and how that played out and the facts are the facts. He had to have a surgery that's going to take him down. He's not going to be ready for spring training, which therefore will put him out to start the season. He'll be on the IL and be ready sometime in April, maybe. Worst case scenario, May. But he's going to get a late start just because of that. So somebody will be playing shortstop, not him opening day. But that doesn't. That's not a good thing for us either.
Bro, you can't make this shit up, bro. You can't make this shit. I hope. it's going to be Caballero, right? I hope Caballero is just killing it. Killing it. Okay? Make the decision hard for them, Caballero. He says it's not a good thing for us that Volpe's not starting this season with the Yankees. He hasn't been a good player. Objectively, he has not been a good offensive player. He just hasn't. Defensively, he's been good. I get that. And I get it. Caballero's also not a high bar or whatnot. But it's offensively, what are we talking about here? Offensively, what are we talking about here? I know Caballero can get on base. I know that. I know Volpe cannot. He doesn't walk. Volpe can walk. Caballero can walk. And if he walks, he's an asset to the team. Why? Because he steals bases at a very high, effective clip. And because of that, he can help the team in other ways. Maybe he doesn't need to be a home run hitter. Maybe he doesn't need to be he's hitting, he's going like this or whatever it is. He could just be a guy that just moves the lineup along. And maybe that's what you need. Maybe that's what the team needs, different dynamics of hitters. I feel like the Yankees have only one kind, and that's their problem come October. They only have one line of hitter and Aaron Judge, right? Bellinger too, right? I don't want to disrespect Bellinger, but Bellinger's currently not on the team. Where people call it home run or bust or whatever it is, but it's not quite that. It's just everybody's mostly has just one swing, and they have an A swing, and that's it. There's not the people that are always constantly putting the ball. The best people I could probably, the people that are in the playoffs right now, like a Bryce Terang, like a Nathan Lukes, like a Clement, like guys that are not viewed at, when you view those teams, you close your eyes, you think about certain teams, you're not thinking about them as like, oh, they're the superstar or whatever it is. Kike Hernandez, you're not thinking about them as like a superstar, but you're thinking about them as guys that can kind of, they're like a cog to the bigger wheel. You get me? That they can continue move things around because they don't stagnate the offense too much. They can put the bat on the ball. They can, move runners along. They can do guys hit homers all the time. They do, and they always will. But just people that can just put the bat on the ball or just play their role, like just play a role on the team. A guy that can just put down a couple of bunts or whatever it is. Like, God forbid you ask Volpe to put down a bunt.
I think missing him and not having him here as an option for us to be, there is a problem. And, I'm looking forward to getting a fixed Anthony Volpe back so, he can be deployed and help us win games.
What is the fixed Anthony Volpe? I'm interested in seeing that. So do the Yankees, so if it doesn't work out, if he comes back from this injury this year, he's fully healthy, and it doesn't work out this year, what is this? Now, this is the fixed Anthony Volpe, and he's still, let's just say he is. And I hope because it looks like we have no choice, right? I honestly do, and I feel like people misconstrue my anger, and meaning that I want Volpe to fail. I don't. I want him to succeed because obviously that would help the team, right? If Volpe could come out and do 300, like I would love to be wrong about it. Like I don't care. I have no ego when it comes to that. I just want to see this damn team win, right? So I look at the efficiencies. So if I can say, if Volpe comes back and he's the same player, and now you're in year 4 going into year 5, and we're here sitting again in the same situation, and you're reevaluating again, are you now making the decision that you should have made 2 years ago? I don't know. I don't know why the Yankees are so slow to make the decision. Whatever. I'm done. I'm done with the whole Volpe combo. I'm done with it. It's just it's exhausting. It's exhausting and exhausting.
I'm below.
Right. Let's see. The Yankees also talked about today. I talked about Judge not needing surgery. We talked about Carlos Rodon. He said Carlos Rodon. Well, we'll do this real quick. We'll just talk about Rodon, and we'll put that there because that's
Carlos Rodon had a scope of the elbow yesterday to get some loose bodies, and I think they shaved down a bone spur. So he'll go into an 8-week of no throw, which probably when you build in all the ramp up and the throwing program into getting him ready to be a starting pitcher, probably delays him potentially a couple weeks to start the season. But everything went well yesterday. He had the surgery out in L.A. with Elytrage. And so for now, he's 8 weeks no throw, and then he'll start his ramping up in the middle of December, his throwing program. Carlos Rodon.
That was on Carlos Rodon. That sucks, but, he's trying to get that cleaned up and whatnot. Just where it's at. Let me see. I don't want to talk about Anthony Volpe anymore. This is on Garrett Cole, where Garrett Cole is.
Do you have an update on Garrett and his recovery process?
Yeah, Garrett's doing well. I think he starts getting off the mound a little bit lightly next week. And then I think he'll have at some point here in the next few weeks, he'll have a deload back off session. He'll meet with Elytrage again when he goes back to California, probably sometime next month, and then before spring training. But he's on track to hopefully, when in spring training, at some point in spring training, hopefully we'll see him on the mound starting to face live hitters and start that progression and that ramp up. But so far, everything's going according to plan.
Is he in play for opening day?
I wouldn't say no, not opening day, but hopefully not too far after.
Do you have an update on?
I think for Garrett Cole, I think he's gonna miss like a start or something like that, like one turn through the rotation. Like that's what may happen there, or two. I think it's fine. I don't really have a problem with that. I think Garrett Cole is progressing fine, and I wouldn't want to rush him anyway. So I think that's fine there. They asked Boone about winning the World Series, and he gave an interesting answer here.
Aaron, you said something like you have to outplay them, at that time of year, and you haven't yet. And you've offered something like that pretty much each time we're in this situation. What would make people believe that a team put together by the people who have been putting this team together, managed by you, with Judge as a centerpiece, will ever actually figure out a way to get to the finish line first?
I don't know. I mean, the reality is we've had a really, really good club in certain years, probably one of the best clubs in the league.
Thanks, shall we?
But all I know is it's time to dust ourselves off and try and build another club that puts us in position to take a run again. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, I think we have a lot of really good people here, both a lot of really good players, a lot of really good staff members, and a great front office that are working our tails off to put us in the best position to take our shot every year and to take a run in October and to get to October baseball and play for it. So, I can't answer that because I haven't got this team to the top of the mountain. So until I do, all I can tell you is I'm confident in my ability to lead this team. I'm confident in our organization to build a team that gives us a chance to win. But ultimately, that's, I can't tell you anything to make you feel good. That, ultimately it's about us winning number 28. And all I can tell you is I'm working my butt off to try and be a part of helping us bring that back.
I've got nothing on that. He's basically saying he can't tell you what it takes
Aaron,
to
you
win
said
because
something like,
he did not
you have
win,
to
which is, yeah, sure, I get that. They asked Cashman, I think, the same question. But let's see.
I know I don't have to remind you that obviously you started with the Yankee organization under George Steinbrenner, and he always had the World Series mandate. So after a season where you won 94 games, succeeded in the wild card round, but fell short in the division series round, how would you describe this season?
We've had success and failure. Obviously, failed in our ultimate goal, and had some success. Obviously, along the way, we had a good team that but fell short of our ultimate goal.
I got just a question. I'm not being arrogant Yankee fan. What was the success this year? Individually, some players, successful years. Aaron Judge, absolutely successful year for Aaron Judge. Bellinger, successful year. Yes, good year for him. Trent Grisham, successful year. Max Fried, Rodon. The Pen did not have a successful year. Some of the acquisitions that we had, like Bednar was successful. I like what we seen toward the end with Doval. Hopefully with spring training, that'll get better. I'm just thinking about the successes because we didn't win the division, so there's no success there, right? If the Yankees view tying the Blue Jays as a success, you didn't win the division because you lost to them. And you didn't have home field as a result. So there's that, right? So that's not a success. Do we want to talk about beating the Red Sox, who were hurt in the wild card round? Sure, I guess. Ben Rice was a success. Cam Schlittler, especially his emergence late and being in the playoffs, was a massive success. What else? I'm thinking about what else, honestly. Maybe you guys can help me here in the chat. I don't understand. Like, what's success?
So, I leave it for the masses to debate. What it ultimately came out of. Proud of a lot of things we accomplished and players that we, I knew that they were fighting. They were talented. They were fighting. They were committed, and but wasn't good enough.
I know I don't have to remind you that obviously
wasn't good enough. Oh, that's it. It wasn't good enough. He did talk about free agency, but he didn't say anything there. He says that I don't want to weigh in on that now. He doesn't want to talk about what we actually need yet. I don't know. He did say Bellinger was an impact player and that they haven't got into conversations with him, which I think they should before other teams talk to him so you can find out what his parameters are or what he wants. But Cashman will maybe talk to him in the next couple of days before the World Series ends. I would hope so that way you can talk to him before other clubs speak to him. Oh God, I can't. A lot of Volpe questions today. They talked about Hal Steinbrenner and how he feels and all of that. And I mean,
Greg and Eric.
You mentioned Hal. How would you describe what your conversations have been like with him in the aftermath of getting knocked out and how he's kind of taken it all?
Yeah, he's frustrated, disappointed. He wants it. He wants a championship here, another one, just like, for him and his family. So I'll speak on behalf of Hal and his family. They, I think, believed, not just recently, but many times that we had a chance to do something. But, it's not a given, if it was a given and people who had that championship caliber gene that had punched through, if that gene was repetitive, and I'm not talking about a gene from handed down from father to son, like, the great George Steinbrenner who belongs to the Hall of Fame, to his son. I'm talking about a gene of winning. There's many a great player that maybe they punched through one time, or many a great manager that's punched through and won something. And we've done it, and Hal Steinbrenner's done it, but it doesn't guarantee. It's not given that you're going to continually do it. You can have a good process. All you can count on is try to put together a strong process, really good people, try to get as many quality players that care and are committed and can stay healthy and play to the best of their abilities, for 6 months and then into the different season, which
I just can't listen to this right now anymore. Whatever. He did talk about Spencer Jones and said that he likes Spencer Jones.
Is Spencer Jones a consideration of making the opening day roster, and how do you evaluate where he stands?
I mean, we're going to talk through all that. I think he's put himself in the conversation that he, at least, it's a fair question for you to ask. I think how it plays out depends on how our winter plays out. Certainly come to spring training and he's earned, without a doubt, the look and the competition. But again, it all depends on how many opportunities exist based on the decisions that come our way this winter. But he's put himself in a position to be considered a potential everyday major leaguer in 2026. But we'll see.
How much do the Yankees like Spencer Jones? The Yankees are I'm telling you, nobody in the organization gets the energy that Volpe gets. Nobody gets the Volpe energy. Nobody. I don't know. I think depending on what Jason Dominguez does, I think they might like Jason Dominguez if he starts to be able to hit right-handed, and they might go ahead and trade. Spencer Jones. I wanted to wait for this press conference. That's why I didn't want to do the whole video on how to fix the Yankees yet. Now I'm going to really work on it based on what they're talking about here. I have ideas on what they should do, what they probably will do, and probably what they won't do that I would love for them to do. And I'm kind of building that together to put a video together to do that. I know that a lot of people love Murakami. I would love the Yankees to actually get Okamoto, just from everything I've been seeing from him. And I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in the MPB, but from everything that I see from him, and I seen from, shout out to my boy Yankee Source, who is an MPB scout, and the way that he talks about him, he says that he would be actually an excellent fit for the Yankees because he plays really good defense, plays third and first. He's a right-handed hitter, and he could complement Ben Rice and McMahon really well at those two positions if they want to platoon. So I would love if the Yankees get Kaz and bring him over, and the guy has some right-handed pop, but also doesn't really strike out much and is able to put the bat on the ball. I like him. I like his game. He's played some outfield as well, so he's played some left field. And I'm assuming he could also play some right field as well. So I like him. I do like Kaz, and I would like to see that. Murakami has the power. He has the more box office type name, but defensively, I hear that he's not really that good. So he's like a defensive liability almost. So I don't know. I'm on the fence about it, but we'll see. I'll talk about that a little bit more. I do think, Fresher, you're right. I do think that he might be a Dodger. He says he does like the Yankees, but he favors the West Coast, so you know what that means. I do think he's going to be a Dodger, and Max Muncy has an option that they might end up declining, which I think would be a mistake because I think he fits their criteria real well. But I guess we'll see. We'll see what they do. Then what else? He talked about Brian Cashman talked about the role of the manager, whatever. He says that Boone's a good manager. I don't expect anything different since seeing as how he's in
if
the
you
press conference.
hate Brian Cashman.
Oh shit. Who's this? Joe Sherman? See, Joe Sherman likes to deal in the real, which I kind of like. He's going to talk about some of the takeaways that he took.
If you hate Brian Cashman and you hate Aaron Boone, you're going to hate what's coming next. Nothing much is changing. They changed some of the, maybe they're changing the curtains. Mike Harkey, the bullpen coach, Pat Rossler, an assistant hitting coach, Travis Chapman, first base coach. That's who's gone. But the same people who are making decisions in the front office, the same person who's making the decision as the manager, they're coming back. I don't think their philosophy is going to change all that much. So They're putting a band back together, and I will call that band until something changes the Red Zone Yankees. They're really good at getting close to the goal line. I asked both guys today if they had thoughts on what would get them those last yards and over the goal line into the World Series end zone. Sorry for the terrible analogy. To the Canyon of Heroes. Nobody offered anything firm except for you take more shots at this, you keep putting good teams together, and you hope that one year everything lines up and goes as you hope.
That's crazy. The fact that the Yankees' hope is hopium is crazy to me. That's wild. It's wild. It's crazy. It's crazy. Brian Cashman has been the GM for 30 years now. I know he's a good GM and all of that stuff. He's good. He knows the industry. He has a lot of connections, all of that stuff. Sometimes a new voice wouldn't be a bad thing. And yes, I think Hal has the fear of like, how do I say? Hal has the fear of the unknown, and like he knows that Brian Cashman's his safe place. Like he knows Brian Cashman could do his job, so he doesn't need to. He knows that Brian Cashman could be able to figure things out or whatever it is and put together a team that'll make money. But he knows that he doesn't know if every other GM will do that. He doesn't know if every other GM will just be in line lockstep with him or like have that same kind of communication so that he doesn't, he doesn't have to be as engaged. He could just call Cashman every so often, get an update and be connected and be like, okay. He doesn't know that. And the unknown stops him from wanting to take a chance. And then I think that's a problem. I don't say that Brian Cashman is a bad guy. I don't think Brian Cashman is a bad GM or whatever it is. Sometimes, obviously, the message isn't working. Yankees haven't won in 16 years. They made the World Series once in that time. And they lost embarrassingly. Bad. The last 3 seasons in elimination games, the Yankees have looked horrible. There's something going on that's different. The Yankees don't even like to use the term fired anymore. The Yankees haven't fired a manager in forever. They like to, the contract expired, we're not bringing them back, or whatever it is. They like to do that with the coaches. They like to do that with the managers. They like to do that with a lot of stuff. I would, there's a lot of things in that way. So that's where it's at, guys. I think next year is going to be a lot of the same. The Yankees are going to probably start off really hot. They're going to look really good or whatever it is, especially when Garrett Cole comes back and a lot of the pitching comes back. Going to look really good. When they come and they have that June swoon, we're going to have the same thing come June, July, August. We're going to, I don't know, they may or may not win the division depending on what the hell the other teams do. It sucks that we have to depend on what the other teams do or whether they suck or not. I don't know. I expect the Red Sox to be better next year, but we don't know. The Blue Jays are good now. We don't know what's going to happen. So we'll see. And then from there, I think we'll get into the postseason. And once again, the Yankees view the postseason as a crapshoot. That's what they view it. Just a crapshoot. Unfortunately. Meanwhile, other teams are purposeful about their success. And the Dodgers, if they win today, they go up 3-0. And they're basically going to be going into the World Series again, which they made the World Series. Just making the World Series. Yeah, I know that they won 2 World Series. They won 2020, which some people don't want to count. I understand. And they won last year against the Yankees in 24. They have 2. But they've made the World Series since 2017. Since 2017, the Dodgers have made the World Series. Let me see. Oops, I'm sorry. My bad. Since 2017, the Dodgers have made the World Series 1, 2, 3, 4. They've made the World Series 4 times since 2017. Is that a mistake or is that on purpose? You guys tell me. And don't tell me a weak NL, because I don't believe that. I think the NL is actually pretty good. The other teams that have had success in that same time period that have made the World Series, the Astros, 2017, 2019, 2021, 2022. They made it 4 times as well. So since 2017 till now, so wait, if the Dodgers make the World Series, this would be 5 times. 5 times. I mean, don't tell me that's called success is more purposeful, right? If they make the World Series this year, they would have made the World Series 5 times in the last 9 years. I mean, that's called a beacon of success. And it's not like Hal doesn't spend money. They spend money. The Yankees spend money. But asset allocation has not been the best. It has not been the best. Out of 5 World Series, they won 2. At that point in time, you get to the World Series, yes, anything could happen, whatever. Other teams are hotter or better pitching. Okay, but you got to the World Series. You won a pennant. You got there 5 times in 9 years? If they make it this year? Nice. That's what the Yankees used to be. People only talk about the 90s about, the Yankees won those 4 World Series. Hey, expand it a little bit. In those 4 championships, they made it. What makes it really incredible, they made it 01, 03. They made it to 6 World Series and won 4. That's the incredible part. That's the incredible part. I ain't got nothing else to say. The next video that we'll probably do like a stream on here as well, like me watching either ALCS or NLCS. But we'll do the World Series stuff. I'll watch that as well. Look out for me in JM Baseball or here. I'm gonna be working on the videos, so I would love to do like a Q&A as well, like people doing Q&A as part of another video. I would love to do like one video a week, one Yankee video a week, and then I want to do like baseball history at some point in time. I also stream gaming on Twitch, so we'll be doing that. But that's what we have. Let me just read some of your stuff real quick. The Dodgers are the evil empire. Yes, they are right now. Dodgers, not a healthy 2024 Dodgers. Yeah, very true. I think the current Mariners are a better team roster-wise than the 2024 Dodgers. Okay. I was listening to Michael Kay after we got bounced, and people were complaining about analytics, but he was claiming the Dodgers are more analytical. Gets thrown out. Yes, but they're okay. Analytics. Okay, let me explain. Analytics is just information. That's it. However, the implementation of that information is different per organization. The Yankees will have analytics and they'll say Volpe is a good player. The Dodgers will have those same analytics and say we got to hit the ball to Volpe. Or they'll say things like we got to make sure we pitch around certain people to get to Volpe. Or let's not let Judge beat us. Let's let this guy beat us. You know, but the Yankees view their own players. They don't view them the same way that other organizations view their own players. The Yankees use analytics and say, let's shift every lefty to the right side, regardless of who they are. The Dodgers say, you know what, certain lefties, let's just keep them here because they play more straight up. The Yankees say, let's shift Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman beats them the opposite way every single time. You can't make that up. It's about how you implement the information that you're getting, not the analytics. I think every team is smart to have analytics. And that's it. They're just not implementing it in the right way. You know what I mean? The Dodgers also, while they view like a data point on them, they also take into effect of like, yo, this player performs a certain way in certain moments, and they'll put him in that. Kike Hernandez. The Yankees don't believe in hot. They don't believe in, yo, this player's going good right now, so maybe these numbers against this player that he has better numbers against are actually amplified because they're going good. But if they're going bad, these numbers that they have against this player maybe are not as amplified. They don't believe in hot. They don't believe in this player's going really good, he's hot, or this player's going really bad, he's not. They don't believe in that. So they believe in, like, I don't want to say that they believe in three true outcome baseball anymore. I think they still value certain things or whatnot within contact, but they view certain things as like, yo, if you hit a fly ball center field really hard and it's a fly ball, they view it as unlucky to the batter. Instead of like, yo, that pitcher's pitching to the ballpark, maybe let's do something different. And they believe in everybody always taking their A swings every time because they feel like over a long season, that A swing will perform really well versus, but the problem with that is when you get into the playoffs with that kind of philosophy, you are now one-dimensional as a hitter. And you being that way, you don't adjust. Unless you're somebody like a Bellinger, you're somebody like a Judge. Giancarlo's been around the league for a long time. Like, people that don't need the Yankees hitting coach. You know what I mean? Those guys are still going to be the exception to the rule, and they're going to say, oh, these guys always take their A swing. No, they have different variations of their swings. Every single time. They make adjustments in at bat per pitch. The other guys have their A swing, and over a season, the numbers will look pretty. And this is why Volpe will have his 19 homers. And that looks like, oh, shit, wow, that looks good. 19 homers. But then his OPS is 660-something. He's not getting on base. He's not walking. He's swinging hard every single time. He's not thinking about putting the bat on the ball, putting the ball to the left field, when, you know, hitting against the shift, hitting behind runners, trying to move runners along. You know, there's that situational part of hitting is not it. Yankees had a lot of sac flies this year, but I bet you a lot of those sac flies weren't because they had the mentality of like, oh, situationally, I got to get the ball in the air. I think that they were thinking of, yo, I just put my A swing on it, and they just swung really hard, and it went into the outfield. And that ends up being a productive out. But that instead of that mentality, it should be more of like, yo, let's have different swings for different situations. But they don't have that. So it's whatever. I hope it works out. Other teams have that up and down their lineup. The Jays have that. The Blue Jays have that. They'll have an approach of like, you know, we'll be very aggressive. Just watching yesterday's game, the way that they adjusted and the reason that they won that game, a lot of their hits and runs came on the first two pitches. They were aggressive on certain targeted fastballs in the zone, and they would shoot balls the other way. They'd put contact on the ball. They'd do things like that. And yes, the homers will come. You know what I mean? Like Jimenez yesterday, he got the homer, but a lot of that was because he was trying to pull. He was trying to hit the ball. He was trying to pull the ball so that he could move the runner along. You understand? He had a runner on second. He wanted to pull the ball, you know, whether it's on the ground or in the air, so he could advance the runner to third. That ended up being a home run. That's rewarded. That's fine. So that's what it is. And that's where it's at. I think that the Yankees, unfortunately, there won't be any change. We'll see what happens. We'll see who they acquire. You know, we'll be here for it or whatever. We'll still be pushing along with the team or whatever. But, you know, just having the same kind of mentality of like, hey, let's just put a team together again and let's see what happens. I think that mentality is if you're not changing the type of personnel the way that you're attacking games and attacking the regular season to hopefully lead you and build you toward the playoffs, then I think it's a fallacy for the Yankees. And yet again, we're going to be sitting here on October at whatever date, whenever they get eliminated in 2026, and I hope I'm wrong, and we'll be talking about the same thing for 2027, but there's the uncertainty of a lockout. 2020, after the 2026 season, there's probably going to be a lockout, guys. You know? And when that happens, so keep that in mind too. Yankees will think about signing free agents like, oh, we might get locked out, you know? Like, we might miss out on. So they might try to have that kind of mentality. So just think about that. 2027 may not even happen. Let's be honest. And then I want you to think about the great Aaron Judge and what this time is going to mean, where now Aaron Judge, where you lost a full season of Aaron Judge in 2020, the years that he got hurt, he's going to be one of the best right-handed hitters that the Yankees have ever had. And that lockout happening robs you of yet another year of Aaron Judge. So get ready for it. The Yankees don't win next year, and that'll be yet another year. That's 17 years, and first of all, that's their high. 16 years has now tied their high as the biggest World Series drought for the team. Look for the Yankees to beat that next year. You would think that the Yankees would love to attack this offseason to try to prevent that from happening, but I'm telling you right now, that is the furthest thing from their mind. They want to win, sure. They do want to win. But at the forefront of their mind is we have to, at all costs, we have to prevent 17 years of not winning a World Series. If they do that, then they would move differently. But with the way that they're talking here and all of that stuff, I don't see it. I just don't see it. Owners are dead set on a salary cap. Get ready for it. Yeah, I agree. I think that's happening. And especially with the circumventing of the luxury tax a little bit that the Dodgers have done with Ohtani or whatnot, that's wild. Ohtani taking $2 million per year because he's making all this money in endorsements and his money actually being deferred, where it's actually only hitting the cap for $40 million, but it's really like $70 million. Like it's the craziest shit ever. The Mets spending all this money for what? You know, like it's not, I don't want to say good or whatever it is because it's within the rules, but it's just, it's pretty bad. Also, what the league really needs is a salary floor, you know, where more teams get better players and things like that, and they're more in competition for better players. But you're not getting a salary floor without a salary cap. You're just not getting it. It's just not going to happen. So there we are. Yankees need to be the old Yankees and spend. The Yankees spend money. They just before the Yankees even sign a free agent, they're already, from the calculations, they're already $260 million. You know, that's their payroll for next year. If they sign nobody, if the Yankees sign absolutely nobody, their payroll for next year is $260 million. $63 million, I think it's to be exact. And this is without bringing back Bellinger. This is without adding certain people. You know what I mean? Like that's how much that is. So keep that in mind also. And you're thinking like, bro, what the fuck? Where's all the money going? That's just where it's at. There's a lot of dead money on there. DJ LeMahieu's still getting paid. Aaron Hicks is still getting paid. I think this is the last year of their contracts or whatever, so they're still on the books. So that's stuff to think about. You know? I don't see the Yankees being aggressive on this because of, you know, this year, because of what I said, because of exactly what I said. That lockout looming, why would they want to sign a player to not have play for them? And yeah, they probably won't play the player, but that's still a time in their prime that they're not going to have them for. And this is why the Detroit Tigers probably want to trade Skubal. You know? They want to get what they can now lockout comes, and then, whatever it is. So somebody will get Scooble this year. They'll pay a hefty price for it, but you're not really getting Scooble. Like, Scooble is only this year or whatnot. Next year, 26. But then after that, he's a free agent. It's gonna hurt him a little bit because he's gonna have some time without pitching too. So let's see what happens. Guys, thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all hanging out. I got to get ready. Tonight I'm on stream. We're going to be doing the game and whatnot. And let's see what happens with the Mariners. My pick today is that Mariners win, even though I think it's going to be a really close game. I could so see Toronto winning this game and evening up the series, but I think the Mariners will win today. I really do. Like, I'll be streaming, like, my live will be on Twitch, so you guys can log in through there. And I really do like Luis Castillo, what he's been doing recently, but the Blue Jays have killed him too. The Blue Jays have killed him. And then we have, you said Blue Jays 7, Mariners 5 tonight. I can see that. I could, like, really see that. I could really see that. I could also see Mariners 5. I mean, it's Max Scherzer pitching tonight, so we don't know. But I can also see, like, the Mariners winning 5-2. Like, I think it'll be a close game today. And then I think Milwaukee wins today, basing that on absolutely nothing but hope that we have a thing. Will you be on? Yeah, I'm gonna be on JM Baseball today and Twitch. Okay. I'm trying to, because right now we're only scheduled to stream the 6 o'clock game. I'm trying to see if we can be able to do the both games, because I would like to do both games. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for joining me today, man, on this stream here. Make sure you guys like the video on the way out, the YouTube video for sure. Subscribe on YouTube and follow up on Twitch as well, and turn on the notifications. I think you got to, like, turn them on again, because Twitch turns them off after a while. If they send you a notification and you don't click on it one time or a couple of times or whatever it is, for whatever reason, maybe you're busy, they'll, like, just toggle your notifications off for whatever reason. I don't know why. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. See you guys later. Peace. Motherfuckers. I hope I ended that stream good. Motherfucker! All you gotta do is fucking Yankees. You playing around. Let's go next. What the fuck is happening? Oh my God!